Hello and welcome back for another edition of Manufacturers Corner. I'm Jeff Allen. The Riverside Convention Center was the place to be in February when manufacturers, suppliers, shippers, and a host of service providers from inland Southern California convened for the 4th Annual Manufacturers Summit. The event, which is hosted by the Manufacturers Council of the Inland Empire, or MCIE for short, is held to update area manufacturers on industry trends and to provide a forum for the discussion of issues facing factory sector businesses. Pearl Virgin, chair of the MCIE, spoke with me about the significance of the summit and why it's important for manufacturers to work together. This is an important event for all the obvious reasons. In the Inland Empire, manufacturers come out once a year. Why is this event important to you, and why is it important to all the members of MCIE?
Well, it's a very important event for us because it gives us an opportunity to come together once a year and for manufacturers to come out and see what is it that we're trying to do. Well, the real reason is to collaborate within the Inland Empire with San Bernardino County, Riverside County, and the other counties in the IE, but it's for manufacturers to see that we manufacture so much in the Inland Empire, and how can we come together and use those resources as one to get not only the word out of who's manufacturing, but how can we utilize each other's resources.
Why is collaboration such an important thing to be aware of nowadays? You hear that word all the time, but why particularly now in this environment?
Well, if you collaborate as a group, what that does to you is you have more opportunity to look at all the resources. So if I had to go out and seek resources for my company as an individual, but if I'm part of the Manufacturing Council and I know that they have resources, we can all come together. We all have the same common issues. We're looking at how can we educate and train our incumbent workers. So we also collaborate with the community colleges on that. And if we can come together and have something that's already set, it just helps us. Also, if we come together as one, we can also look at where we can pull from and get more as to what we're trying to do here. So if once a year we get together and we come together as one summit, but throughout the year we meet bi-monthly as manufacturers, come together, look at some of our needs.
We also caught up with Rob Moran, EDA manager with the County of Riverside, who had these thoughts about why the Inland Empire is an ideal location for companies to set up their manufacturing operations. When it comes to manufacturing and doing business in Riverside County, why is Riverside County and the Inland Empire as a whole, why is it such a great place to be? Why should a company put down roots in Riverside County?
Another great question. The Inland Southern California region is in the heart of the Southern California marketplace of 22 million plus people. We are very close to the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, very strategically located not only within the Southern California marketplace, but also with accessibility to the other parts of the country. We've got a great skilled workforce. We've got availability of land and buildings at a much lower cost than you're going to find in our coastal communities, so they can still thrive and grow and expand here in the Inland Southern California region at a lower cost than you're going to find in other parts of Southern California. And you've got a committed set of public and private institutions to work with that manufacturing community so they can grow and thrive here. Those are just some of the reasons why they would do well here.
With increasing global demand for American-made goods, companies looking to expand their export offerings need to be aware of services that can help secure financing as well as reduce certain financial risks that come with increased international commerce. Sandra Donzella, West Region Director of Business Development for Export-Import Bank, discussed how her company helps manufacturers with an eye on the global marketplace. Specifically, what kinds of services do you provide? I mean, are we talking about for businesses that are ready to build from the ground up, or just those that are interested in taking their business globally and exporting their products and services?
Well, we offer loan guarantees, export credit insurance, and direct loans. So when it comes to loan guarantees, these are programs that we make available to the banking sector, where we are stepping in, guaranteeing their loans, which in turn are being made available to typically small and mid-sized companies that need it for working capital to sustain their export activity. So a good portion of our clients are banks, and the intent is to, again, encourage the banking sector to have greater flexibility financing exports. We also provide export credit insurance, and most of our clients under that category involve small businesses that are seeking to maybe penetrate a new market. They're concerned that their buyer may not pay, and they want to insure that risk. So we offer a wide range of different options for companies of all sizes, really, which protect in the event of non-payment by international buyers. And then sometimes we help companies that are having a tough time getting financing from their lender, even with guarantees available from either our organization or the Small Business Administration. And if that's the case, we can consider doing a direct loan as well for small businesses, exporters. At the end of the day, everything we do, again, is to help U.S. businesses minimize risk and compete internationally. And that's we recognize that the foreign risk, as well as lack of financing, often can be an impediment to export growth. So we have developed solutions that address those needs.
And just how important are exports to the Southern California economy? That's what I asked Fred Lataparisa, Director of International Trade, U.S. Commercial Service at the U.S. Department of Commerce. And here's what he had to say. How significant a role do the region's manufacturers play with regard to international trade from your perspective?
Jeff, manufacture is a critical element of economic development and international trade. Let me just give you a good example of it. Just recently, export statistics came out. This Inland Empire region, which represents Riverside and San Bernardino County, had a 20% growth. And that is simply because the manufacturer are the engine behind this. When you take a look at a typical manufacturer, which perhaps is less than 10 employees, they are the ones that are having the tremendous growth, anywhere from 10%, 20%. We've had even some that are focusing on 70%. Now keep in mind that 95% of opportunities in expanding international trade are outside the United States. So when we talk about local manufacture, they create jobs. So when we talk about that increase in terms of export of that 20% increase in this region, that creates jobs. So anytime a company that's been here for many years that expand their markets perhaps by 10 or 20 or 30%, that creates local jobs. In addition to that, many people that may not be aware, when we have foreign visitors coming here, that's an export. When we have foreign students coming here, that's considered an export. So it's an area that's important, driven by both education, but more importantly on the manufacturing percent. We have automotive, aerospace, and information technology, and we're the gateway to Asia, the Western Hemisphere, and this is one of the fastest growing region census that we've gained congressional out here. So it's important to take a look in terms from a intermodal perspective, from an air, from a rail, from a trucking, combine that with manufacturer. It's a gateway, as I already mentioned, to the world.
One of the most significant issues facing manufacturers today is filling their open jobs that require qualified people with advanced technical skills. I spoke with Mike Gallo, CEO of Technical Employment Training, who offered his insights on providing new and incumbent workers with high-quality training quickly so that manufacturers can fill these important jobs sooner rather than later. One of the things we've talked about a lot is the deficit of training to fill skills gaps in employees that are needed right now by manufacturers.
Excellent.
What's your take on how we can do this in a way that can get people up to speed and get them employed right away?
Right, great question. And I'll tell you, I think this is a concurrent activity. Clearly it's in building capacity in the future, which is where our K-12 public education system comes in. But as you point out, our employers can't wait that long. They need to find somebody right now to employ employed, that can fill the positions and have the skills, competencies, proficiencies with the certifications and credentials necessary to run these high-tech machines. And seeing the way advanced manufacturing is going today, I mean, we need that skilled labor. And quite frankly, we're going to have to build it here. So what we're seeing, that not only importing, okay, we can go compete and try to sell people on the value of California and the beautiful weather out here, especially in these times as it's snowing like mad back east. Maybe you can attract some people, but that's not really the long-term solution. Long-term solution is how can you quickly and effectively build a capacity by retraining your workforce here and now. And you can do so with accelerated programs like the ones we're doing at Technical Employment Training, Inc. that can take you in 3 to 6 months from relatively zero experience and move you into credentialed and certified positions in advanced manufacturing with nationally recognized industry valued certifications and credentials in National Institute of Metalworking Skills and things that employers value and see. But it's got to be done in an intensive training environment. And that's the difference. So we've started Technical Employment Training, Inc., TET as you refer to it, with 4 key principles in mind. First one is a comprehensive curriculum in an intensive training environment. So they're coming in, punching time cards, going to work 6 hours a day for 5 days a week, for 3 to 6 months. That's a major commitment and investment, but you're doing so by conferring industry-valued, recognized credentials and certifications. That's key. We don't do anything that doesn't result in those, because that really proves the value of your academic instructional environment. And then the third thing is, all of this is done in an on-the-job training environment. So we run an operational machine shop, not an educational institution. So we're taking in real work, real quality control standards, real production schedules, et cetera, right, to mimic the environment that they're going to ultimately be working in. So they're not only getting the academic requirements and getting the certifications, credentials, but they're also getting experience. And then the fourth key thing is that you got to embed in any education and training program is placement. You got to link people to the job market and to the demand and growth industry sectors where they sit. It's not only meeting the demands of a particular employer, but also meeting the demands of the workforce and a population that finds itself as a minimum underemployed and some, unfortunately, unemployed.
Thanks to all those who took the time to chat with us during the 4th Annual Manufacturers Summit and the members of the MCIE for having us. If you'd like more information on the Manufacturers Council of the Inland Empire, visit mfgcouncilie.com. If you have an idea for a story or a topic you'd like us to discuss on Manufacturers Corner, get in touch with us by visiting our Contact Us page at manufacturerscorner.com. If you like what we're doing, you can show your support by advertising on our website or sponsoring our programs by calling 951-697-3098. For Manufacturers Corner, I'm Jeff Allen.